Hello and welcome. You guys saw the name of this. This is tips and tricks for new players. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing I want to go over is spread attack. This is a really nice way to, well, spread your attack around multiple enemy forces. And let me just show you the original way of doing things. I have some bombers here. As you can see, the enemy has a couple different clumps of units. And instead of trying to click one bomber and attacking one clump of unit, using another bomber, attacking another clump, and so on, there is a way to automatically do that. And let me just go ahead and show you what it looks like without using spread attack first. So I'm going to select my bombers. Maybe I want to try to hit in the middle of this. Maybe I want to hit here next. And maybe I want to hit this target. If you can kind of get a sense for what's going on, they will literally just overkill this and then overkill this and then overkill this. Let's just watch it happen. Coming in, all in a single file line, all dropping bombs on one target, and that did its job well because there were so many of them in one spot. But there is a more efficient way to do this in a situation like this. So let me just go ahead and set it up and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and you can see again there's kind of 4 distinct clumps of units, and instead of just overkilling one at a time, this time I am going to move these guys over here so we have some more time. I'm holding shift. I'm going to select 1, maybe 2 from each. That's probably fine here, and keep in mind how many bombers you have. I have 10, and I'm still holding shift, and now I'm going to press shift Z for Forge Alliance Forever. And there's a bunch of waypoints. Basically what this is doing, each bomber will try to attack a different unit out of the ones we selected. So they all have their own waypoints. Let's zoom in and watch this happen again. Ideally, all these groups will be destroyed in one pass. Let's see how they do. You can see all the bombs going to different places. And look at that, not too shabby at all. So again, all I did was queue up multiple things. And well, now everything is dying, but hit multiple things and press shift and Z at the same time. And it'll give everyone their own waypoint. A lot of the time, the units might be more clumped up like this if the opponent is just selecting a lot of units and just giving them all one waypoint. So spread attack works very well here as well. You kind of just click random units in this bunch, something like this, and then just go ahead, and I'm on Forge Alliance Forever, so the keyboard command is Shift Z, as in zebra, and they all have their own waypoints. They should all attack those individually now. And I think if you're on default Supreme Commander through Steam or something, the shortcut is Shift G, as in go, but I highly encourage you to pick up Forge Alliance Forever, and let us watch these happen. So they're coming in, each dropping their bombs in different places, and look at that. There's the last straggler right there. So that was significantly more efficient than them all dropping the bomb in one single place and doing a huge overkill. We got basically all 100 of these in, what was that, 5-10 seconds? So yeah, spread attack can be very, very helpful. Another use for spread attack might be if you manage to sneak some units into the enemy base, or maybe you do a transport drop behind the base, and you want to target some critical structures like the power grid. So let me go ahead and just cheat and give myself some artillery really quick. Maybe 10 or so should do it. And okay, if I do this right, I'm going to have them all attack the power grid and then give them a spread attack command. And this should be significantly more deadly than having them all overkill on one. So I just hit Control Z, looks kind of like a mess, but look at this rainbow of destruction going on. See how well they do. All attacking their own. They're doing pretty well, and I'm using artillery because artillery does pretty significant damage to stationary targets. And guys, let me try this just one more time. Instead of queuing up just a few, I'm going to queue up as much as I can and then hit spread attack, and let's see how much more deadly this is, if they even get there. You see, they are firing at different positions. Since these are just T1 powers, they don't take a lot of damage to destroy, and if you did this to your opponent in a game, that cripples their power grid. If you were able to sneak a few light artillery units in and you managed to do this early game, that is a pretty serious blow. The next tip has to do with upgrading mass extractors. So generally, if you remember from my first 2 beginner's guide videos, you want to expand as much as possible and pretend there are other players here who all have all these mass extractors for themselves. And once you have expanded to as far as you can go before running into resistance, you can scroll out so that all of your mass extractors are on screen, double click them, start them all upgrading. Then you can, while they're all selected, you can just hit pause, and now it is very obvious which ones still need upgrading. So you can, one at a time, unpause them. Once this one finishes, you can unpause the next one, and so on and so on. This is just a really nice way to kind of give you some more visual feedback as to which mass extractors still need upgrading. The next tip has to do with factory spam that is especially prominent in early games. And instead of clicking every single factory and queuing them all up with tanks, which is what the majority of your army should be composed of, a far more efficient way to do this is simply to, if I can do this right, select all these factories and just have them assist this one. And now you see when I did that, they all started building whatever the queue is on this. And something to keep in mind is that it will override the waypoints. So you see this waypoint is down here, but when the tank actually gets produced, they go to wherever this factory's waypoint is. To get other units into your army, you have a couple ways to go about this. You can either queue up however many tanks you want. Again, you'll probably want the majority to be just regular light tanks for direct tank-to-tank combat. Maybe you can add in some anti-air, maybe some artillery, depending on, the situation. I also like to throw engineers in the mix as well, sometimes 2, just to reclaim stuff on the front line. Like if I press shift and control at the same time, you'll see tons of reclaim. That's a nice way to get engineers to the front line. Or alternatively, if you just want these just infinitely producing just tanks, you can also have a kind of support factory of sorts where you just make the support units on repeat. Also, don't forget to throw scouts in there. I have the map revealed, but you will definitely want scouts as well. So now I have 5 factories all producing tanks. Whoa. And 1 factory that's producing mainly support units. You can do it however you like, whether you tell all your factories to produce support units, or you can do it this way. Either one should work. And while we're on the topic of factories, I also want to go over the adjacency bonus just really quick. So if we look at an interceptor, you'll see on the left it takes 2 mass per tick and 90 energy per tick to build an interceptor. Same as this one over here, except the difference is this one is attached to a hydrocarbon. You'll know it is because 1, when you go to build it, you just put it right up against, and 2, there will be a kind of energy line kind of thing. It's different for every faction, but there's going to be some sort of connecting link. So if I try to build this from here and I turn on the economic overlay, you'll see the cost is exactly what it says, 2 mass and 90 energy. And now if I try to build one from this linked hydrocarbon or adjacent hydrocarbon, it is 2 mass and 78. So that is a pretty sizable difference, and it will only scale with tech. And this is giving me energy savings because I have it attached to a energy producing unit. And just another tip for building these, try to build them offset just a little bit, just like this. And that way you can put 4 factories around it if you so desire. So when you're building them, just try to set each one, align it to the edge and have it go off, and then have the next one aligned to that edge, because if you didn't align it like this, you'd only be able to make 3. The next tip I have for you is unit abilities. Not all units have them, but those that do have some pretty cool traits they can pull off. For instance, this Seraphim Tech 2 Destroyer can submerge. And let's watch it go underwater. And this will protect it from gunship attack and or bomber attack, not torpedo bomber attack, just regular bombers. And it does pretty good damage like this. So not a bad option if you are playing as Seraphim. You can always raise it if you do need to attack some land targets or something, but that is your call. Another unit with pretty cool abilities is the Seraphim Destroyer. So if I select these guys and then I hit their unit ability, in this case it's amphibious mode, let me go ahead and show you what it does. So obviously naval units can normally only traverse in the water, but with amphibious mode protected, let's go ahead and zoom in and see what happens here. Bam, look at that. He sprouts legs and goes onto the ground. How cool is that? And if you're ever wondering what the unit ability does, feel free to head over to the Supreme Commander wiki page and you will find a pretty decent amount of information there. I'm not going to go over all the unit abilities in this video because there are quite a few of them, but I thought these were a couple of the coolest. And the last tip I have for you guys today is to not neglect your commander. If you click on your commander and you come over here, not the construction menu, not this menu, but the enhancements menu. This is really cool. You can see 3 different things you can customize. One is the back. You can put one of these special upgrades on his back. You can put one upgrade on his right arm, and you can put another upgrade on his left arm. So each one of these can have one upgrade active at any given time, and they can make quite a significant difference in the battle. One very important upgrade is the resource allocation system, and again, if you can see over here, the yield is 18 mass and 1700 power, and the advanced resource allocation system yields 36 mass and 3400 power. So that is nothing to scoff at. Additionally, you can add a gun upgrade to the commander, which makes it even more of a menace early game. And you can also upgrade his tech levels. If I upgrade him here and we look at his health, right here you can see his health is at 11,000, and let's wait for this to upgrade. And now with that Tech 2 upgrade completed, not only does he have 13,000 health in that bar you can see down here, but he can also build Tech 2 things. Very nice. And one last cool fact about the commander is this Overcharge unit ability. And this is in addition to his regular gun and possibly upgraded gun if you have one. As long as you have one energy storage built, those can be built with Tech 1 engineers right here, energy storage. As long as you have one of these built, it gives you enough energy to be able to fire this weapon, which requires, as you can see there, 5,000 energy to activate. And just to see this in action really quick, I'm going to spawn in some tanks. Let's do like 10 of them, there we go. And now if I told this guy to pick them off one by one, he would get the job done eventually, but if your commander's being rushed, you definitely want to use this overcharge thing. And bam, there you can see. It does splash damage, and it does a very good amount of damage. But there you have it, guys. I think that'll wrap it up for this video. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any more tips you think would be helpful for new players. I'll probably end up making a couple of these tips and tricks videos, so the more input, the better. But I think that'll wrap it up, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.